Welcome to the One Gang Worldwide podcast, your ultimate ride into the world of motorcycles. Visit cyclesworldwide.com where we offer a completely free marketplace for everything motorcycles. Join our One Gang community where you can connect, share info, and swap stories with riders from all over the world. Join for free at cyclesworldwide.com and be a part of the One Gang community right now.
He won a national championship with the Texas Longhorns in 2005, was drafted 19th overall into the NFL, and now he's trading cleats for throttle cables. From the inside world of Division I football and the NFL to his next chapter in motorcycle racing, this is the ride of Michael Griffin like you've never heard it before.
I was like, hey, listen, instead of us riding on Sundays, let's sign up for one of these track days, which is Ride Smart, and let's try that out. So it was crazy because I had all the stuff, and I went to the funeral Friday for Cedric Benson, and that Saturday I went to COTA to do the track day, and pretty much the rest was history.
One Gang Worldwide podcast, brought to you by Keyboard Motorcycle Shipping. Since 1978, Keyboard Motorcycle Shipping has been the trusted name in transporting motorcycles safely across the country. With custom-designed pallets and air ride trailers, your bike is secure and protected every step of the way. By choosing Keyboard Motorcycle Shipping, you're supporting a dedicated small business that prioritizes quality and customer satisfaction. Ship with a peace of mind, knowing your motorcycle is in expert hands. Visit keyboardmotorcycleshipping.com for more information. Now, let's dive into today's episode. What's up, One Gang? Welcome to the show. We got an awesome one here today, a little bit different than the norm. We've got a unbelievable college player and NFL player, but in addition to now chasing his passion on two wheels. So Michael Griffin, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us.
I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you very much.
Definitely, Griff. We're kind of nerding out on this one, fanboys. So we're super grateful grateful you've joined us. Let's start, your roots, early life. Let's take it all the way back and start with your childhood. Where, what was it like growing up in Austin, and what kind of kid were you?
Oh man, so it's just me and a twin brother. We both played every sports you can think about. Soccer was the first, baseball was second. Graduated to basketball, football, and then track. So did all 5 sports.
Nice.
When you got 2 boys in the house, the parents like keep them busy, but at the same time, military household. My dad was in the Air Force. My mom was in the Navy. So I pretty much can understand how that type of life was. It's funny to grow up thinking that you're not doing so well in life, but you're actually doing better because your mom made you think that you didn't have nothing. So I started working when I was 10 years old. I used to referee soccer games. I don't know if any of y'all have kids or whatnot, but you go out there to the field. I was one of those kids that, the parents used to yell at because they wanted them to get the calls and stuff, and you just have to be out there and be confident in your calls and things. And by the time I was 15, started working at the Target. And then right before I went to University of Texas, I started working at Finish Line, and I actually worked there during the summer. Even when I was on full scholarship, I was working at Finish Line. It was pretty impressive because if you knew the hustle, and when all the drops were coming in, so you can kind of
get the latest swag and all that stuff, man.
I supplied everybody with the greatest, but at the same time, made sure I was the number one seller each and every month. So it worked out perfectly. If you get
this is before the NIL stuff, man. So
yeah, man. So I probably made more.
Your ass off too.
Yeah, I probably would have made more now, knowing with NIL they would have had more money. And I could have got them 2 and 3 pairs of shoes rather than just one.
That's right. That's right.
But I always make sure they got the socks because you always have to have the accessories to go with the shoes. So I told them, I'm gonna get you the shoes, but you got to buy the pair of socks. So I always used to hit those goals. And then from there, I was an A/B student. Again, my parents, especially my mom, wouldn't let me make anything less than a B. At first, it was all A's. And then as I was getting better in the sport, she was like, okay, maybe I'll let you get a
Oh,
B
that's
here.
cool.
Yeah,
That's nice.
but when I tell you about the books, it was for me and my brother. It was by the book, so we had to. And then one rule we have is don't let the street lights beat you home. So we were in the party life and all that stuff that you hear about kids doing. That was not allowed for me. I had to be home, and it was funny. You play a Friday night football game, do really well, and then the next morning you're sitting 8 o'clock in the morning, you're stocking shelves and stuff at Target. So
it's a grind, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
my
did your oh, go ahead.
I said no. My mom used to maybe make. I had to earn my own lunch money, so that's pretty much how we used to feed ourselves during the week. So again, I didn't know there was an option for college when I was in high school. I thought that was like, elementary, middle, high school, college,
Work.
and then
Right,
so
work.
some people was just dropping out of school when they decided not to go to college. I didn't know what was going on, honestly. So I was completely brainwashed.
Man. So, I mean, back then it was actually, if you didn't know better, you probably didn't care. But now looking back, I'm sure you're grateful for having parents that prioritize that kind of stuff.
Definitely grateful. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for, just just the mindset that my mom and my dad built upon me and my brother. I mean, he works for the government now, and he's doing really well. So,
Awesome.
So again, it was one of the things that it was just a hard grind, and whatever whatever we did, my mom was like, "You're not allowed to quit. You got to finish and follow through. Give it your all. Make your bed in the morning when you wake up. Cleaning the house and stuff when we got home from school, chores and stuff. You name it, did it. So it was like it's like a pipeline. We just understand it's funny now because having kids of my own and the way they are as grandparents, they got excuses from my kids, so my kids get away with murder because they feel like
of course.
Why is that, man? That sucks. That sucks for us.
Dad is so tough. Dad is so hard, and they'd be like, well, G-Mom and G-Daddy said, I'm like, if y'all knew who G-Mom and G-Daddy was when we were growing up, I promise y'all would have thought it was, that close to child abuse. I mean, literally. But I mean, again, it was nothing physical. It was just the expectation was set very high. And so for myself, the expectation is like a high goal for me. It's like, it's all or nothing for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, having parents like that. And I'm curious, were your parents athletes? Were they into sports also?
My dad played, a little bit of basketball and stuff, whatever. He was more in basketball. My mom, she ran track, went to state in high school. My dad is from Virginia. My mom is from here in Texas, outside of Waco. So, they were, but at the age of 18, they didn't come from, a lot. So my mom and my mom, pretty much when she graduated, she got on this bus, would put her in the military, got shipped off to Germany where she met my father, and they've been together ever since. So my mom was 18, my dad was 21, and they've been together ever since. And now
that's cool, man.
Dad's 72, my mom is 68, or 69. So they've been together.
That's three.
Yeah. So with last question about young days, were you and your brother pretty competitive? What did that relationship look like?
It's crazy. We're like very supportive of one another, but the competitiveness comes from the fact of it was like everybody else wanted to see, who's bigger, who's faster, who's stronger.
Sure.
It was like when we were playing, when you're playing rec ball, when you're playing Pop Warner and stuff, it was like back in the day, they used to do the Oklahoma drill. It was like, all right, Griffins, y'all are up, and like go against each other. And,
wow.
And so it was almost as if like now looking back, it wasn't necessarily us being competitive amongst each other. We was always supportive of one another, trying to help each other out, but it was everybody else wanted to see us battle it out and have us compete against each other. So, naturally, if you have brothers or you have sisters or whatever, there's just a natural competition.
Of course. It's just part of it, man. You love each other, but you are competing against each other every time you play hoops, so you play football or something.
Yeah, it's like we're supportive of each other, but we're competing against each other, but it's always us versus the world. So it's not going to be anybody else getting between that. So that's just something that it was just funny looking back on how, coaches and stuff used to always align us against each other to make us compete against one another.
Yeah. Back in the day at the early stages, this is before high school, I'm asking, who was the better athlete out of you two?
I might have been the better athlete, but the better technician when it came to like the work ethic and everything, it was always my brother. Like he was saying to this day, like Mike could actually naturally go do some things, but he would work at it and like develop the tech. Now we played basketball and I was a great defensive player, but my rule was don't shoot because I couldn't shoot. But my brother could shoot all day. Like he still to this day he can shoot. So playing football, he was the quarterback. So you think about the technician and the mobility and just understanding running the whole offense and everything. That's the way he operated. When we played soccer, I got away with just being fast and everybody, but he was a defender that took all the free kicks and everything else because he could actually like shoot the soccer ball and place it where it needed to be. He could do all those things. Baseball, I was fast, good at, but he was a pitcher. So you just think about all the things that required technique, and you couldn't get away with athleticism. That was where he thrived at. He was a technician on everything he did.
What's up, One Gang? I used to think that if I spent big money on riding gear with a logo on the back, I was getting top quality. I gave Leather Up a shot. I wasn't sure at first, could I really get quality gear without spending a fortune? But after putting tens of thousands of miles on their jackets and vests, I had my answer. No busted zippers, no loose stitching, just solid, well-made gear that lasts. Leather Up carries trusted brands like Milwaukee Leather, Hot Leathers, and more, with gear for every rider and every budget. Plus, their customer service actually cares and picks up the phone, something rare these days. So do yourself a favor, check out leatherup.com. Whether you need jackets, vests, chaps, boots, helmets, or luggage, they've got you covered. And because you're part of the One Gang Worldwide family, use code CW20 at checkout for 20% off your entire order. Stop overpaying, gear up with Leather Up, and see the difference yourself.
Nice. Michael, let me ask you this, right? When you were at Bowie in high school, I mean, you played running back, defensive back, return kicks. You basically played most positions. Back then, when did you know that you had a legitimate shot for college ball, and especially D1?
You know what's crazy is like, and I talked, me and my mom, we had these conversations. Like me and my brother and my mom, we had like a 3-way conversation like every morning. That's how close we all are. My dad laughs at us and like, y'all like a bunch of women that gossip with each other. This is what we do though. But we play golf with my dad, so that's like our gossip time. He just don't want to admit like that's when we're all talking, hanging. But like in high school, again, my mom was so focused on academics and things. It never was one of those things like football. Like I was just playing sports because it was fun and I was good at it. But I don't necessarily say I was looking at it like I didn't. You see a lot of times now, especially the younger generation, they specialize in a sport.
Yeah.
And, they start doing, parents got them training as 9 and 10-year-olds and they're just specializing it. And I'm dealing with that right now with my daughter. Like she's in high school, she's a freshman, and she's really gifted, very gifted, talented young lady. They actually going to state. She scored the winning goal to put them to advance to state.
Sweet.
She's a freshman. So it's crazy because, the coaches at the school are trying to tell her, soccer. And then her basketball coach is trying to tell her basketball. But then the track coach is like, you can go so far in this because you already broke the school record in shot put and you can try it. And like, and I'm just like, listen, the sport will choose you. you're not going to choose the sport. And you would just naturally, I mean, me playing football, like my mom thought for sure I'd be a basketball player. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not tall enough. And, I played soccer and I thought I was pretty decent at it. I was good. I can outrun a lot of people. I was strong. I was, physical playing the game of football, playing soccer. A lot of times their physique and their build is not what wasn't like mine. So, it worked. And so playing baseball, the reason why I chose football was because the scholarship offer came. So it's like, oh, I'm just going to go this route. It wasn't necessarily like I chose it. It was just, hey, you're good at this. Here you go. And so,
was there one sport? Was there one sport that you truly loved more?
Honestly, I think it was soccer because that was my first sport that I ever played.
Right. Right.
And so football was the last sport that I played. And so, and I had a serious injury my sophomore year. I broke my ankle. And that's like scary, for a 14, 15-year-old young man.
Of course.
You break your ankle and they tell you break your growth plate, and there's a possibility that, it may heal, but you might not be able to play again. And if you get any taller, you may have to break the ankle again and put a rod in there. And so you hear it and it's like, all right, cool. I'm thinking of something else, but the very next year, I remember like it's yesterday, like I, put my pads on and I'm out there running around and I'm like scared out of my life. Like, like this is what happened the first time. So I just kept playing and naturally you get over that injury. I think that's the last thing when it comes to recovery from injury is the mental part of it. And so going back and facing your fears. And so I went back out there, I played, I excelled at it, I did a great job. And then that summer, I started getting scholarship offers. And I promise you, I got my first one, which is now Texas State, but at the time it was Southwest Texas. I like literally committed right off the rip. Like I commit. They were like, wait, what? Like, I commit. And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, I'm sure you're going to get more. We just trying to get ahead of the ball game. You're a really good player. I'm coming here. Like, it's no big deal. And people were like, what is wrong with him? I'm like, because I just thought that, damn, I got a scholarship. Cool. I'm good to go. Keep going to school.
Right.
That was like I say, my mom, you see it now with social media and everything else. It's just different. And so it wasn't the social media putting out there that you're this great player. It wasn't the 24/7 sports. Rivals was just now getting, so it wasn't like everybody telling you how great you were. So it was like, went to a camp, got offered a scholarship. I commit.
That's
right. They're like, oh, you're going to and then I went to the next school, TCU, and they offered. I'm like, okay, I commit. They was like, did you say you commit to the other school? My dad, no one in my family played college sports. They were in the military. And for them, it was like, hey, continue education. Whoever gets your scholarship, that's where you're going. Continue education. So for me, I commit. It wasn't to play football. I commit because you give me a scholarship to continue my academics. Of course. And you hear about when people leave school, they're in debt. Like, hey, listen, this is free. I'm going there. I don't know nothing about the football team. I just know they're good in sports. Like, because my weekends on Saturdays wasn't spent watching college sports. It wasn't spent Sundays watching NFL games. I was working. So,
right.
So I wasn't watching none of these things. So when you go back to school and everybody's like, oh, you're this, and it's like, I have no idea what's going on because I've been working all weekend. So, but that was just my life growing up. And you asked the question on when did I know? I think it just came upon me and stumbled across me. And people don't understand that I was originally committed to Texas A&M because I always wanted to be a veterinarian, and A&M specializes in veterinarian school and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, go there, BS around, play football, but I'm gonna be a veterinarian because you hear it's hard to make it to the NFL. So
that's right.
A&M, get my core classes together, and then pursue my career. What I want to do is be a veterinarian. But they fired R.C. Slocum, and I ended up going to Texas, and I just wanted to do something different because I'm from Austin. Everybody wanted to go to Texas. I'm like, let me just go somewhere else and do something different. because I just
Griff, that was my next question. I wanted to ask you, what was that process like? How did you end up choosing Texas?
Well, they fired RC Slocum, so I guess
That
you
was
could
it.
tell Texas A&M. Thank you for that. There's a big rivalry when it comes to Texas versus Texas A&M, and they just reunited that whole rivalry this past year with Texas joining the SEC and making that the rivalry game each and every year. But
Yep.
they fired RC Slocum. I was very close to Sean Slocum, which was his son. He was a DB coach, and I just had a really good connection with him. And there was a movie called Sir Parker a long time ago, and I remember just watching that movie about a young man. I believe he was from California. That ended up from a rough neighborhood that ended up going to Texas A&M and playing football. And you remember those movies like The Program?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah, college movies. But that one was the Sir Parker movie. And this may be the weirdest thing ever, but I hated white cleats. And that was what Texas wore at the time, was white cleats. And,
That's right.
And at the time, Texas A&M, they had Jackson Appel, who played safety. They had Ty Warren. They had a lot. Their defense called the Wrecking Crew. So it was just a cool concept. I love the whole maroon, their all maroon uniform that they had when they wore.
Yeah, it's clean.
They had this thing around the collar like Florida State, and all of them used to do the little thing. So it was just a cool thing, and I used to love
and it's such a big military school on top of that too, which hits home.
The black cleats with the black socks, and they used to wear the white socks underneath to show that little bit of white. And I was like, oh, I want to go there. And I was fully committed. They fired RC Slocum. Then I called Mac Brown. I'm like, hey, is that offer still available? And they were like, we were just waiting on you. And I was like, all right, cool. So
cool.
Ended up committing to them going into my senior year. And then from that standpoint, I literally shut down my whole recruiting. It's crazy now to watch kids like commit to a school but still take the whole visit thing or whatever. But me, like, as soon as I committed, I like blocked every number. Like, I'm done talking. I'm good to go.
All right, man. I gotta ask you this. I gotta ask you this question because I think for people like myself who've never had a chance to witness it but can envision it, like, take us into that first day when you got onto campus as a freshman, that moment, your first game, and you're out in this huge ass I mean, I know playing in Texas, you guys always play in front of big crowds. God, Texas ball is big anyway, but seeing the sea of orange out there, orange and white everywhere, man. What's that feeling like as a freshman kid, 17, 18 years old, man? And you're like, holy shit, this is like real deal stuff now.
Yeah, it's crazy because my senior year I would always go as I was I committed, and so they would always invite you to all the home games. And you got to watch it, whatever. You didn't stand in the school year, but when you get down there and you just look up and like the cannon that goes off, and when they, Bevo, they bring him out and he does his whole thing, and when you run down, like the thing that got me was, I don't know if you ever watched the entry to a Texas game where they blow the smoke.
The smoke,
and you're going out, and the crowd is going like crazy, and I was like, wow, like this is crazy. And I remember my first play. It was weird because at the time, now you can play 4 games and not lose your red shirt, so you can be able to play a little bit even in your red shirt year. Back then, 1 play and your red shirt is gone. And we was playing, I believe it was New Mexico State. New Mexico State, one of them. And remember Coach Aquino, who's now back at Texas, says, hey, listen, I can't guarantee you how much playing time you're going to get this season, but are you ready to go? So it was me, Terrell Brown, and Aaron Ross. We were all freshmen, and we all ran out there in the fourth quarter. And I tell you, we don't know what we was doing and don't know. I can't even remember what was going on. I just remember we walked out, and I looked up. We're out here, and I don't know what was going on. Like,
wow.
It's like, because it was just a blur. Like, I'm trying to look at coach, get the hand signals, but I can't look. I see everything. It's a blur. It's a blur. So it's nothing like high school football. It's on a whole nother level, like another level.
What was
That's
that
crazy.
like adjusting? You're in the Hall of Honor at Texas. It's insanely cool. But what was that like adjusting to the culture going from high school to college ball?
It was different because, I think what the young men don't understand is, the coaches and everybody else, they want you to come to the school. And then when you get there, you walk in that meeting room and you're like, wait, that was the number one player in his position last year. And then 2 years ago, that was the number one player in the position. And you're in a room with just everybody's just as good as you. Everybody.
Right.
And so it's like a dog eat dog world. And it's
Mm-hmm.
the culture of getting adjusted to it was like the team policed each other, that was just the biggest thing of like, and we all like we had to run. Like I tell my kids and I tell the players today, like what we used to have to do, run 26 110s, which is
Wow.
start the goal line and run across in 13 seconds, and everybody in your group has to make it. So what you
You're
really
doing it again.
if you bend over or you show any signs of weakness, so initially you're supposed to run 20. But every time you show signs of weakness, you add one on, it doesn't count. So now you're tired, but you see, call your brother, your teammate, he's tired, he's ready to fall out or bend over or whatever. You grab him to put him on your shoulder and let him rest on you. Don't take a knee, don't bend your knees, don't bend over, stand up and let them know that this is easy. And if you can't, either we're going to grab you and pick you up and run you across or push you in your back. And if you see somebody that's not going to make it, you run across the line and you turn back to go get your brother to bring him back. And that was like the culture of we're all just supporting. Right. And it was like no man left behind. Like that was just the objective. So it was just the adjustment. Like in high school was like if you're the man, you're the man, you can be the man. But in college, it was like, yo, we all the man. And I say that because Vince Young, probably the best college football player to ever play the game. I know he doesn't get. I know they put, but when I tell you, one man that could take a whole game over by himself, like literally.
Vince.
And so he was the same way. Like he may run across the line, but he coming back to pick somebody else up. Like it was just how we all just, and it was.
That's cool.
We're gonna be better each and every. Literally, Coach Brown used to sit on top of the hill in his golf cart, and we used to go at it to make each other better. And Mac Brown blow the whistle and say, "Hey, listen, that's enough. I've seen enough. Like y'all are ready. Like
nice
because practice was work, game was playtime. That was us on our playground. We just had the most fun ever because it was like the game was so easy because we played against so much competition.
That's right. You guys look so talented.
Worked your butt off in practice. So did anybody take you under their wing when you got to school?
I would say, it was crazy because you had Dakari Pearson, who doesn't get a lot of credit for how great he was. He ended up having a serious shoulder injury. But you had Dakari Pearson, you had Nathan Vasher. They were basically the two seniors in that room. And I remember like Nathan Vasher, who leads the all-time Texas in interceptions. He used to like make us freshmen sit in front of him, and we were like trying to learn how to watch film and not fall asleep after class or whatever. And he used to like just like slap us in the back of the head and tell us like, wake up.
Like a parent, man.
Hold me. Or you'd be like, hey, Rook, or freshman, stand up. Watch the rest of it. Like they were the one, it was like tough love. Like
right.
We have a tradition, we have a culture. And here we go. And then it was like him. Then I got real close with Michael Huff, who got inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. We were roommates. Cedric Griffin, we used to lie and tell everybody we were cousins. We really wasn't. But that was the thing we did. So it was just a really tight group. To Terrell Brown, Aaron Ross. Like we were all like brothers. Like
that's awesome.
And it had like if you're in practice and like someone starts talking crap to one of the DBs, we all jumped in. Like it was never going to be
great.
Never. Whole cavalry coming.
That's right.
Did Matthew McConaughey come in and harass you back then, or were you free of
Nah, but he still has that leather jacket that he wore the national championship game. So whenever you see him,
let's go. All right. All right. Speaking of that, let's talk about that 2005 season. You were part of probably one of the most legendary college football teams in the history of the game. Well, we'll get into the championship game later, but let me ask you this. What do you remember most about the season, like how it started and as you were going into it? I mean, obviously, all the chips have to line up for you guys to finish the way you finished, but take us a little bit through that magical run, how you guys started gaining momentum, gaining confidence, the things that you were doing. I followed you guys that year pretty closely, man, and with the championship game, obviously rooted against University of Spoiled Children, but it was just awesome to see. Take us a little bit through that run.
Well, like early in the season, it was pretty much I would say cakewalk. I mean, you get your warm up games in or whatever.
Schedule.
But the biggest thing was getting over that hump, and that hump was OU. My freshman year we got blown out. The second year we lost 12-0. It was Adrian Peterson's freshman year where he ran for a crazy amount of yards, but we didn't let him score. Still, they kicked 4 field goals. We just couldn't score on the offense side of the ball. And then we finally played OU, and it was like, can we get over the hump? Finally get over the hump. We win that. Have a big scare versus Kansas. Big scare.
I remember that.
Kansas, yeah. It was by the grace of God, fourth and forever. We make a great play, Vince and everybody. And then I remember us playing A&M, and that was like a dog fight because they came out with Jaworski Lane, the biggest fullback / running back in history. And they had Stephen McGee. Reggie McNeil didn't play, so we thought, we're going to face a freshman. Stephen McGee, which shout out to him, phenomenal player. I think he won quite a few state titles. Him and Jordan Shipley were teammates, so which is Texas receiver, and he was a phenomenal quarterback that from Burnett. That when I tell you, probably one of the toughest. He is basically Josh Allen in college, like the physical would try to run you over, stiff arm you, do all the things that you tell a quarterback not to do. He was going. You could even go back in that game. I thought I knocked him out, and he just popped right back like it was nothing. But it was just a tough game that we ended up pulling that one out, and then but I just say the biggest thing was getting over that hump of OU. That was the biggest thing, just trying to get over that hump, and we finally got over that. My career versus OU is 2-2. First 2 years we lost, and the last 2 years we won. And versus A&M, I think I'm 3-1. I lost my senior year.
Okay, cool. Let's go, lad.
So playing in the BCS National Championship game against USC, you've got Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. What was the energy like on that field, and what was the game plan to contain Reggie and let Leinart try to beat you, or not try to beat you guys?
Well, I'm gonna tell you right. Somebody lied on the scouting report. Lindell White was not 225. Lindell White was probably 265. I think when we went in that game,
he doesn't get credit for that season for USC.
He does not. He was my teammate too when I got to Tennessee, but he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Like he's one of the reasons why that team. Because I mean, think when you take Reggie out, it's not a drop off whatsoever. It's not a drop. It may not look the same, but it's getting the same productivity when it comes to I got on the field. And but also the biggest thing on that day is my attitude. It was my 21st birthday, so I actually won that. ship on my 21st birthday.
That's incredible. That's right. January 4th. That's right, dude. That's crazy.
I didn't say nothing about it because we was playing in a serious game, but that atmosphere was crazy. But it was more impressive that being in LA area and the stands were like, it was like a home game for us. It was like a home Texas football game. I guess we bought all the tickets or something. But we traveled very well. We had Matthew McConaughey. They had Snoop Dogg. So
that's right. That's right.
It was interesting to see how much emphasis and all the people that came out to watch that game, and it was just a great all-around game. And just to name all the players that went on to play in the National Football League and to be a part of that game. And again, when I tell you Vince, 200 yards pass, 200 yards rushing.
That was sick.
That's impressive. Sick. And the crazy, I mean, it's almost like deja vu because the year before versus Michigan, he kind of scored in the same place and did the same thing. And the legendary quote was, "We'll be back." And to actually come back and win the game the way he did, it's impressive. Like that's, like I say, when you talk about credit, Lindo White should get a lot of events. I think when you talk about that best college football player of all time,
I think you guys may be probably top 3 best college football teams of all time. I mean, you guys were unreal.
You can't discredit that Miami team. You just can't discredit that. That Miami team.
Miami was crazy.
That Miami team was just with Ed Reed. That team there is just on a whole nother like.
Yeah. There's a lot of Hall of Famers that came out of that one, man, for sure.
They need to check their NIL deals back then because I don't know how you do
yeah, I mean, those NIL deals.
I mean, and you think about it, like Ed Reed is originally Ed Reed and Reggie Wayne are from Louisiana. Like, you know, you're like, wait, y'all chose to go to Miami? Like, okay, like what did LSU not offer you?
What happened? Yeah, exactly.
What did LSU not offer y'all that y'all went there? That's the part I don't get. I don't understand. Yeah. But, you know, our Texas
LSU was an average program back then. I mean, they were pretty good. They were okay until Saban came, right?
But again, Miami was still a good football team during my recruiting process. But like, you're Cedric Benson, you're Vince Young, you're Roy Williams, you're Jamal Charles,
right.
Everybody decided to go they stayed in Texas and stayed in Texas. So I'm trying to have a better I mean, why they didn't go that way, you know? I mean, why?
Yeah.
You know, but Miami's a wild town, man. So, you know, if you want to get away so nobody sees what you're doing, Miami's the place to go.
I get it. I was just curious on what
That's so awesome.
Two legendary Hall of Fame players went to Miami rather than stay home at LSU.
For sure.
Yep.
When did it hit you in your college career that you had a shot for the NFL?
National championship game. I think it was that game, the way I played, that interception. I think that was that moment that I was like, okay, I think I'm good enough to go to that next level. But I have to say it was that game because it was, you know, basically playing against NFL talent, you know. And like, listen, that's a Heisman Trophy winner. That's a Heisman Trophy. That's second in Heisman Trophy winning.
Right.
That's the Thorpe Award winner right there, who's my teammate, who following year, my other teammate's the Thorpe Award winner. So I'm playing on a team with 2 Thorpe Award winners, you know.
That's right.
You know, I played alongside with Derek Johnson, who won the buckets thing. And so, you know, playing in that game, I think I realized, like, you know what, I think I can play at the next level. These guys here are NFL talent that is going to be highly recruited. I mean, highly, you know, drafted and things in that nature.
Right.
I think I'm able to play at the next level. So I think that was the calling of saying, oh, you know what, you can't play at the next level. Now, where I got drafted, now that's a whole different story because that by the grace of God, that just fooled me too.
Hey, before we get into that, one last question following up on this one. Did you end up going to the combine and working out, or did you wait for your pro day?
I went to the combine.
And you did everything, right?
We did everything at the combine. Yes.
So what was your feeling like when you were meeting with the teams and shit? Like, that's cool, you know. Look, and I'm asking because I'm a sports lover and I love the NFL. I mean, I love your career. You're an awesome guy. Take us a little bit into like sitting down with the owners, the managers, the GMs, the coaches. Like, who did you like, and who were you kind of like? Yeah, I hope these guys don't, without naming names, of course, but like maybe.
Again, like from a humble standpoint, like I said,
Yeah.
I was just one of them people that's just like, you at the time you had, coach, you had the Jets at the time, and you realized that they was like a tough nose like type environment or whatever, and then you knew, like, you heard all the stories about Bill Belichick and playing for the Patriots and things, but I would say that for me, I was built mentally as a kid of just hard work. Like, it didn't matter what the circumstance was.
Right.
And I think that was the difference, because my parents never told me how great you are. My mom told me it was for everybody else to tell you how great you are. It's for me to tell you the truth. And that's why my kids always have issues, because they're looking for what they always said. I'm always trying to please you. I'm always trying to please you. And I'm like, son, I tell my son, I love y'all. Like, my job is to prepare y'all for this world. My job ain't to sit here. What are you pleasing me for? Whether you please me or not, I'm gonna give you everything I got. So you try to please the wrong person. When you go out there and you perform and you do sports and things in that nature, you're supposed to be able to look in the mirror and ask yourself, did you give it your all? Because you're only a loser if the team wins and loses. Individually, as a player, you don't win or lose. You're a winner still if you go out and give it your all. Because I tell you, there's small wins and victories. And what I mean by that, if you go out there in that game and you play your tail off, and a coach come up to you and shake your hand and say, hey, you're a hell of a player. You won. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. And you win or you lose and no one tells you nothing, then you got to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, how can I get better? What did I do? I don't understand why no one is telling me good job. And so that's why I think I was prepared, because mentally, like, I remember one time I got a C and my mom made me go to the game and told me to be the loudest cheerleader ever. And told the coach, you better not put him in the game.
Really? Wow.
Fully dressed. And the coach is looking at my mom looking at me, you better not put him in the game.
You better not.
I remember the one time where I supposedly, me and my friends, which we did, we passed it around or whatever, but I knew the answers. But I'm helping a friend out. So the teacher said, all your answers are the same.
Yeah.
So all got to retake the test. So my dad tells, he take it. The principal begged. My dad told the principal, don't beg. Like, no, if he messed up, that's on him. So my dad, in his uniform, sat there and took the desk outside on the football field, and there was actually college scouts out there.
Wow.
I took practice, and I'm sitting there in my desk taking a test with my dad looking over. And like he tells me, he's like, it's not for me to tell you how great you are. Like, you're great to me regardless, no matter what you do. But I got to teach you for the real world. And this is what happens when you mess up, you do dumb stuff, whatever. This is what happens. So not only is it embarrassing where the coach is looking at me like, you're a problematic child. What is he? It's embarrassing. Yeah. Like, it's okay. So for me, it was like, no matter what team or whatever, it was, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to do everything. That was my mentality. And that's what it still is today. It's just a mentality of what, like, I was mentally, how I was raised, the cultural.
Gotcha.
That is so powerful. Yep. Insanely powerful. And speaking of powerful, next question is getting into draft day 2007, first round pick, 19th overall. When you got that call, there are thousands of us around the nation that are watching
millions
these players in their living rooms, millions watching these players in their living rooms that, we're teary-eyed watching. It's such an emotionally powerful time. Can you take us into that experience a little bit, what that was like that day and how your family received it and what was going through your head at the time?
I guess I'm a weirdo. I actually mowed the grass that morning because back then the draft was one day. So they used to have a lot of between picks. So I mowed the grass that morning. Me and my teammates and all, we was living in the house or whatever. My mom bought the house, but we had to pay her rent. Crazy. But she was
awesome.
She was our landlord, so you know how that goes. So I mowed the morning, ran a couple of errands. She invited a lot of people to her house, so I went to her house, and everybody's like in the living room. I'm in a whole nother room in the office, just laying on the floor, just chilling. While everybody's in there, I'm just in a whole nother room. And they're like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing." It's just like it's you got the anxiousness or whatnot, but it was just like I got the call. I'm talking to Fisher and Mike Reinfeldt, and they said we're going to draft you, whatever. And then I like walk in and I tell them, and everybody's screaming or whatever. And for the sake of, I don't know where the Titan hat came from. Somebody had a Titan hat and just threw it on my head. But
that's funny.
It was like that happened, and then I was kind of like, all right, cool, like it's back to work. Like it's back to work. Like that's how I felt. I remember just that whole process, and then going to OTAs and stuff, and that was cool. My first day at practice, it was cool. But Vince was already there at Texas, so
that's right.
Yeah.
He was already didn't Ross go right after you too? Your team
Ross was the very next pick after me. Yes,
right. So, I know that was cool, man. You guys must have been like.
And again, it was just going back to work, and I just remember like maybe I was a company man. I don't know.
Griff, did you kind of were you thinking somebody else was gonna, or did you kind of know Tennessee was gonna pull the trigger if you were there? So where was your mindset at that time, based on all your meetings?
I got told late first to early second, and so they said it was the teams that all drafted DB. So I had pit bulls at the time, and at the time there was a lot of things that were going on about former players and stuff and things in that nature, and so that was a whole thing. And so what ended up happening was Cincinnati, pit bulls are banned in Cincinnati, and they knew they needed a defensive back, so that was off the boards. They ended up drafting Leon Hall. Yeah. I think it was who else? It was Cincinnati, and then Denver was like no can do because pit bulls were banned in Denver, so they were like no can do. The Jets were interested, but they moved up to go get Darrelle Revis. Jacksonville was interested, but they said I was basically still on the board, so they moved back.
Dodged the bullet there.
So Leon Hall got drafted at 18. Tennessee pulled the trigger and was like, he can play corner first year and move back to safety.
Safety, yeah.
Pac-Man comes back. And then Jacksonville drafting Reggie Nelson. And then New England moved back also, and New England ended up drafting. So Reggie Nelson, I believe, went 21. Brandon Merriweather, another safety, went 24. So all the safety, and LaRon Landry went at 6, I believe. So the 4 safety was projected. Then there was a possibility of a trade happening where the Chargers was interested, and they were going to send Mike Turner to Tennessee in exchange for their draft pick, and then they ended up drafting Eric Weddle. So that was how that all those top 5 safeties went like between 34, I think.
Yeah.
So we went 34. So all of us went off the board that quick.
That's crazy. All right, so you land with Tennessee. You're walking into OTAs. You got your brother Vince there, which must have been a little bit more relaxing knowing that you got somebody that's already been established with the Titans. Take us into that transition of starting out your first year. Let's go through OTAs on how was that different from what you were used to at Texas?
Well, it was. I mean, it wasn't necessarily. It was cool. Well, what ended up being kind of cool was Coach Aquino, who was my DB coach at Texas, my head DB coach in Tennessee was Chuck Cecil, who also was who Coach Aquino coached when he was at Arizona. So it was almost like that connection of oh, and Coach Aquino used to have his films of like his top 10 like big hits, and nobody could ever top Chuck Cecil. So it was amazing to finally meet the guy that actually was the one that we were all trying to beat on our big hits, but we could never beat him.
Wow, that's funny. That's funny.
If anybody knows Chuck Cecil, look him up and you will realize like why. Like, Chuck Cecil was a crazy player that was very physical type player. And so that was cool. And you had Bo Scaife, you had Ahmad Hall, you had Vince Young. They was on the offense side of the ball, but I was on the defense. So I got real close with Cortland Finnegan, Stephen Tullett, Chris Hope, and then Keith Bullock, who was basically the staple point of that defense for a long time. And then Albert Hainsworth also was the main guy. So I kind of transitioned to like watching how those guys prepare in the things that they done. I mean, it got crazy. I even bought a house, like 2 houses next door to Chris Hope, so because he was the other starting safety. So I started watching film with him 24/7 and like doing everything he was doing. My biggest thing was figure out who's been in the league the longest, who's been doing things the right way. And so those were the guys that I kind of looked up to and learned from them, which was Keith Bullock, who played, I think, 11 years. Chris Hope played, I believe. And then David Thornton, who's now still working for the Colts. He was a former undrafted player that played for UNC, won a Super Bowl with the Colts, was our Sam linebacker. So I kind of just attached myself to those guys that was doing things the right way. And so it was pretty much an easy transition because I wasn't the loud one. I wasn't I was like really like, I might have been more annoying than anything because I was like, okay, how do you do this? How do you do that? What should I do? What do you do? Like, okay, y'all say we got to get in the cold tub. Okay, get in the hot tub, get in the sauna. I'm just doing everything they doing. Don't know if it's working or not, but I'm just doing everything that they're doing and just trying to learn how to be a pro.
Hey guys, the show will be back in 1 minute right after a word from our sponsor.
Hey, One Gang, tired of feeling like your butt's taking more of a beating than your bike on those long rides? Introducing Butt Buffer, the ultimate solution to saddle soreness. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. These cushions are made from medical-grade viscoelastic polymer, scientifically crafted to eliminate pressure points and keep your circulation flowing. No more numb nuts or numb butts. And here's the best part. Butt Buffer cushions are made right here in the U.S. for the last 30 years. From Harleys to Hondas, we've got a cushion to fit your ride perfectly. Plus, with styles ranging from sleek pebble polymer to luxurious sheepskin, there's a Butt Buffer for every rider's style. Get your Butt Buffer today at buttbuffer.com. That's buttbuffer.com. Your butt will thank you, and you'll ride longer and happier. We've got your butt covered.
I read that they started you at your first year. They got you in that corner while Pac-Man was suspended, and then things kind of transitioned in the secondary. Then they moved you back to safety, and you really kicked ass like that back end of the season. Is that what happened? Is that what transpired?
Yeah. So initially they had me playing corner. Pac-Man was suspended or whatnot, and they had me and Cortland Finnegan battling out. And then Cortland ended up pretty much winning the job. Trust me, I was not a corner, but yeah, it was just a little different.
You're a bumper, man.
Man, my welcome to the NFL was that preseason game versus Lee Evans, and he ran a go route, and yes, did not have the speed to run with that. So ended up game 7, ended up moving back to safety and getting the start, my first start, game 7, and I mean, pretty much the rest was history. Got to start playing there, and it was just pretty much, I mean, it was a learning process that first year.
Yeah, man. Would you have two? You had 2 picks against my Steelers. I think that towards the end of the season.
That was my second year.
One was a pick six. Man, I was crying watching that game.
I was pissed off that game. That game, I was mad. I was really upset. It was a lot going on in that game. I was upset because I missed the Pro Bowl. I ended up becoming an alternate that year, but I missed the Pro Bowl. I was pissed. And my teammate Chris Hope, he got the nod. Cortland Finnegan got the nod for the Pro Bowl. And then Troy Polamalu got the nod for the Pro Bowl. And I was like, pretty much, fuck y'all. I got to outshine all y'all this game. And so
That's right.
Let's go.
Hey, was that the season you had 7?
Yes. I had 10, 3 got called.
Yeah. Hey, but wait a second. Didn't you make second team All Pro that year?
No, I made second team All Pro 2 years later.
2 years later. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was the second year, man. All right. I got you. That's cool, man.
Yeah, I was mad.
Yeah, I know. You kicked our ass, man. That's like
get down on the interception. I'm like, no, I'm going to go score. Fuck this shit.
I remember that vividly.
That's insane. So you had a strong, consistent career, 2 Pro Bowls, over 25 picks, second team All-Pro. What were some of the toughest challenges you faced during your NFL career, both mentally and physically?
Mentally, I would say losing seasons. That shit was tough. Like each and every week to go out there and give it your all. And we had a high turnover. I mean, unfortunately, Tennessee didn't do well, sure, but I mean, we was having. You think we had Coach Fisher, Munchak, Wisenhunt, Malarkey, became the intern one year. Defensive coordinators were rolling in and out. The coaching, it was just crazy.
It sucks.
Went through 3 first-round quarterbacks: Vince, Jake Locker, Mark Mariota. Running backs, Chris Johnson had a great time, Lindell White, but then you went through you had Javon Ringer, you had we had quite a few running backs. I can't even name all receivers.
Yeah.
And I tell you, just a high turnover place.
You guys always had a solid defense, though, man. That's one thing the Titans were always good for. You guys, you always on the field, man. So it was always 3 and out, and you guys were playing those.
Yeah, so it was just, I mean, again, I cherish every moment of it. You just go back and you look at, like I joke with a lot of my friends, like Jamal Charles and Derrick Johnson, all those guys, and I'm like, y'all was lucky. Like, y'all just had like one quarterback and, same receivers. That's how you win. Like, the guys that had those, like that type of situation, and it all starts from the top. And I think when Bud Adams passed away, rest in peace, the organization was just trying to figure out what they were doing, and now they have Amy, and she's working through the wrinkles and things and getting things in order. So, I think it's and they're building a new stadium right now. I think it's an organization that still they found it, and then I think was the firing of Mike Vrabel. I mean, he did a great, phenomenal job of what he had.
Yeah.
But just anxious to see where the program goes. They
just it's you know how it is with the NFL, man. Everything's based around the quarterback. I mean, you got to have the guy that can.
You got to have the guy.
You got to have him.
It all has to work, but honestly, it all has to work together. It all. I mean,
that's right.
The best team I had, we went 13-3. That was year 2, and that was the year where Kerry Collins ended up coming in for Vince versus Jacksonville the first game of the season and ended up being the starting quarterback the whole season. And we went to the Pro Bowl and everything, and he was like on year 20. Like he
played a long time. Yep.
And we won a lot of games with just playing smash mouth football. Like it was nothing pretty about it. It was just we would go toe to toe. And we're just going to go. I mean, we beat the Ravens, I believe, like 12-10. Yep. It was just a hard fought game that was like, and then we lost to the Jets that year, but we beat the Steelers. That game came down to who's going to be the first in the AFC, and that was a hard fought game, and it came to a defensive type game, but that's just how the ball fall. Everything just has to work, fall into place. And if you look even this year, people was questioning the Eagles and questioning the Chiefs.
Right.
And the Chiefs made it all the way to the Super Bowl, and the Eagles seemed at that moment all the pieces were together.
That defense is nasty with Philly, man. That's a great defense.
And it's all up. You think about it, it's all up front and the rotation of it. And people thought the defense was going to, they lost a defensive coordinator a couple of years ago to Arizona, and you had a couple of young guys out there playing. Cooper DeJean, who had a phenomenal rookie.
Phenomenal, yeah.
People asking the question, is he a corner? What is it? I mean, she's just a damn football player. I mean, he just does what he do. And so CJ Gardner, people talked about him when he went to Detroit and he came back, but he's an emotional type guy and he plays. You know what energy he's bringing every weekend.
That's right.
And then the linebacker, I can't remember his name, but he played for the Saints.
Braun or something. And he just got a nice extension, man. That was cool.
When he was with the Saints, you're like, that's the same guy that you put him in the right situation, everything just works collectively, works together and works out for him. So again, everything has to be clicking on all cylinders at the right time.
Griff, what's one misconception that every sports fan thinks they have answers to, but truly have no idea about being an NFL guy?
I think the biggest thing is, and I think this is just natural, one thing we always do is count pockets. And,
good call.
Whether or not you deserve it or not, I'd never understood why people he don't deserve that much. The question is if somebody went around on all our daily jobs and day-to-day basis and say who deserves what and who don't deserve what, I mean, sometimes it's just, hey, listen, things happen to people that it just happened to them. I mean, they work. A lot of times people don't understand is the NFL contracts, in my opinion, are paid based off what you have done. With the mindset of you're going to continue
to do that
or more. The problem is the NFL, unlike a lot of sports, it takes a team.
Right.
It takes more than, we saw LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh win a lot of championships. Just took 3. We don't know who was on. We don't even know who was on the bench. We really don't know.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It took 3. In the NFL, it takes, because you have an offense, you have a defense. It takes more than 3 people. Like, I admire what Tom Brady did because it's almost like he was never always the highest paid quarterback, but he always made sure that he had the right people in the right places and what he needed, and it worked. And so I think that's where the misconception is like, sometimes it's like you want people to continue to give the same amount of production, but it's hard when the production that might have been next to me or whatever. I remember playing and you going into a game and, I played with Chris Hope for, I think, 5 years. And I knew where he was going to be at all times. I just knew how we were going to play. I just knew. But then I played with Bernard Pollard and I played with George Wilson. I played with Jordan Babineau. I played with Denora Cersei. I played with I played with so many other guys, and it was trying to figure out Marquise and Huff. Like, it was a turnover when Huff left. Trying to find the right person, and every time I played, it was trying to figure out, okay, what is he going to do? And then sometimes they like things a certain way. And then sometimes it was one of the coaches told us, when we do this, you do this, and we do this. So we had to change a lot of things. When you're playing with corners. I remember playing in Texas. I knew with Terrell Brown, I don't even have to look on his side. He's a technician.
He's good. Yeah.
He ain't gonna have a lot of energy. He ain't gonna do it. He gonna have that. He's got that side. Aaron Ross, he's a playmaker. Ross tell me, hey, I'm gonna go get this. Okay, hey, Terrell, you by yourself. You have no help. I'm going this way. And it used to work. Me and Michael Huff, we just knew what we were gonna do. And then when my brother started playing, we just knew. And that was easy. I remember the one game he got hurt and I had a freshman come in. And I'm trying to line him up. No, that's not it. The whole no, hey, what are you doing? No, you know what? Let's just go back. Like I'm trying to. So I tell people, the game is harder than what you think it is. It's not that easy. You think it's just it's like quarterbacks and receivers, the timing, running backs, the time. Like sometimes I remember we had a running back. We used to call him Crash. I'm not gonna say a name. We call him Crash, but it was he was just too fast. He would never let his block set up. He would just run into the back of offensive line. And they used to get so mad at him. They're like, bro, I'm pulling. Can you slow down a little bit?
Right.
And so everything is timing. I think people don't understand, like one player, everything can throw a lot of timing off and things, and it's just hard to get into the rhythm if it's just not set. A lot of times when guys are doing a lot of great things, you see a lot of those pieces. They're all been there for a long time, and they all understand the game.
That's right.
That makes sense. I'm going to go off script a little bit here and ask you a question that's kind of burning in my head. If you had to pick between playing college and playing NFL, and you take money, all the other things out of it, just the purity of football, would you choose college or NFL?
College.
Right. Okay. I thought so.
I mean, man, listen. If I can go back to college now, that Texas, that's a different level. Like win, lose, or draw, you know your fan base is going to be there.
That's right.
They're going to love you at Texas.
Yeah.
It's a big difference when you win and when you're losing it in pros. It's a big difference. Big difference. But college,
that's crazy.
And then you're still a kid, like you're just having fun. Like, it's just
that's right.
Even when you say the whole NFL take the money out, whatever, pros is a job. It's a job. College it's fun. It's just fun.
It's a different world. There's so much passion in it. It's a different
fraternity, big frat house, and you're just having fun the entire time.
That's right.
That's it. Like you go to the dorms together.
For answering that.
It's just best time. It's like having a big party that never stops for 4 years.
I know, that's cool.
That's a good way of putting it. All right, getting back on script. Is there one play, one game, or one hit that lives rent-free in your head to this day?
Oh, you know what? The one hit that lives rent. I got ran over by Mike Turner versus Atlanta Falcons.
And that's Ben's team, by the way.
The worst part about it is you can still look on YouTube. My son even sent it to me one day. It was the fact that the DJ plays like song or whatever, and I'm going to still say it wasn't all Mike Turner. My teammate was there too, and he kind of hit me too.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that after it happened, the DJ inside Mercedes Stadium plays Ludacris, "Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way."
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Luda's ATL, and he was at that game.
That's bullshit.
And then after it happened, I get up, and I remember Cortland Finnegan looking at me, and he goes, "Ooh," and I was like,
"Oh,"
because once it happened, you don't really know how bad it was, but it was just once the song started playing, and I looked at him, and he would like mix his face, and I look on the replay, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then the whole plane ride home, everybody's like, "Damn, little speed bump." Everybody kept calling me little speed bump, like.
That's not fair because you got pushed. Your own teammate. So I was watching that game. I remember that hit, and your teammate and I looked it up too before this, and he pushed you, got you off your balance, and then that was when Turner was able to knock you down. I mean, that was kind of a friendly fire assist.
So you remember when they did Hard Knocks with Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
The fall year. And I remember I told Turner, like, we're like joking, we're walking and we gotta do 9 on 7. And he's like, hey, Griff, man, listen, we're on the same page. Like, I'm not gonna run hard. Just don't, I'm not trying to take no hits, man, please. I said, I owe you one. He's like, no. See, that's why I'm talking to you now. I said, I owe you. That's why I'm trying to have to talk with you now because I feel like that's still in you. Like, you still thinking about it. I said, dude, I heard the whole way on the bus.
The whole way. Oh,
here.
jeez.
Let you know, I owe you one. But we were just talking about it and joke about it the whole time. But really good football. But that was probably the one that's just like, when people be like, I'm gonna look you up, I'm like, please don't.
Don't. Yeah. Don't.
No.
I hope that result doesn't come up. So who's the best player in your opinion that you've ever played against, and who's the most underrated?
Calvin Johnson is the best player I've ever played against. That is LeBron James of the NFL.
Mm-hmm. He's a freak in nature.
Yeah, he's just who gets the least amount of credit? I would have to go with the least amount of credit would probably have to go with. No, let me come back to that because
that's tough.
That's a tough one.
It's got to be tough.
That's a tough one. That is definitely a tough one.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Griff, how'd you mentally prepare for the grind every year, man? I mean, you played in the league a long time. Was there a routine that you kind of followed regularly every season, or did things switch up? Like, I mean, your body, especially playing safety, man. I mean, you guys are the last line of defense. You're always in. You are one of the best tacklers in football. In addition to that, how did you prepare yourself mentally and physically every season?
Well, physically was the fact of just off season. We used to always come back home to Austin, and I mean, you had me, Brian Arakpo, Derek Johnson, Aaron Williams, Quandre Diggs, Jarrell Free. It was a lot of us, former guys. We all used to work out together, training the off season together. That was the physical aspect. Mentally, you know what? When you sit in that locker room and you look in that locker and you see that name change, but that number don't change, mentally you just locked in and like, I got to do everything at all costs. And I say that to say, and I had to come with my kids too, is the fact of like, you can't give people opportunities. So what I mean by that is when you're not available, you open that door and you open that window for somebody else. And out of 160 career games, I think I only missed 2. Yeah. And man, those were not by choice. One was the coach told me you're down, and I had a torn quad, and I said I could still go. And he was like, I know you can run a little bit. I said, just keep me close to the line of scrimmage. And we were playing the Rams at the time, St. Louis Rams, not the LA Rams. LA Rams is a good team. St. Louis Rams, y'all know those Rams.
They were a great team. Yeah. That's
after that era, But he was like, no, you're down. The other one, I got suspended for being a repeat offender of helmet to helmet. But outside of that, I mean, dislocated shoulders, herniated disc in my back, you name it, I had it. And I'm like, dude, shoot me up. I'm going back out there. Like,
right.
I'm not giving anybody the opportunity to take my spot. And so I did everything I could to make sure that nobody got that opportunity.
Hey, in addition to, man, when you signed your second contract, you were one of the top paid safeties in the NFL now.
Correct. So I actually got franchised, and that was, like I said, I go back to that company man thing. I signed another contract that said if I got hurt during OTAs and summer workouts, that that they would honor the
nice.
They would honor the franchise tag because I didn't sign the franchise tag. And so I went to all the OTAs. On the last day of the OTAs, they were like, listen, we're going to get this man a contract because he didn't give us no.
Awesome, man.
He's here every day. He was doing tip to me at the time. I was like, I'm getting more money than I ever made. So I wasn't tripping.
Man, that's well deserved though, man. You were definitely in your prime. You were one of the best in the game, hands down.
And again, I took it a different approach. The other approach was it going to be the highest paid safety at the time? The answer was no. But if we did the taxes and everything else, being that the two highest paid safeties were Weddle and Michael Huff at the time, they was making $8 a year, but they was in California. So when you did the tax breakdowns, and then you do I was actually making a little bit more once you do the taxes. But on paper,
yeah.
But when it comes to like government and Uncle Sam and everything, I was making more. So couldn't beat it. I mean,
no, man, shit.
Yeah, can't.
You gotta I had to look at it a different approach, and it ended up working out for me. But
what do you think about the shift in the NFL in the last few years with tightening up on the rules? You mentioned helmet to helmet, quarterback protection steps. What do you think? What's your kind of vibe on where the NFL's headed with that?
You know what? It's do I like it? No. And I mean, even now, I think the way I played, I would probably be a linebacker in today's NFL because of the size and everything else.
The size, yeah.
But I think everything just shifts. I mean, this is nothing stays stagnant. The other thing is the difference. I think that the hardest part is, I think the hardest part would have been for us because we grew up in an era and we started in the NFL as this, and they transitioned everything. They were transitioning everything to what it is today. The good thing is they're teaching the younger generation how to play the game in those rules. We were forced to adapt to those rules, which you basically telling hard. Yeah, you're telling us, okay, we got to change this. Like, man, I've been taught this way for a long time,
right, for decades. Yeah.
So I think the thing is that since the game is being taught a certain way, I think it's going to be okay. I think for us, the hardest part was how they changed the rules, because when I was first got in the league, you lived for a kill shot, and there was no penalty. And then they're like, nope, not doing that no more. And you're like, okay, so where you want me? And then when you ask the question, what would you like for me to do? Even they couldn't answer. But now I think because they're teaching it, the college players are coming in the game and understanding the rules already, because that's how they play in college. Instead of getting fined, they get to for a whole half. And then in high school, it's the same thing. They're telling you, listen, this is what you do. If you do it again, we're going to eject you or whatever. So they're teaching it at a young age as they're growing, knowing how to play the game, rather than we were forced to be basically like going to your job and saying, hey, changing all the rules today. What we did yesterday, we're not doing today. And you're like, wait, what? I want y'all to learn I want y'all to do all this on the computer now. Well, I don't know how to do it. I don't have no backing in this computer, the tech.
Right.
That's cool. We'll just find somebody else, or the next class that comes in next year, they're going to already know how to do it. So I think it put us at an advantage as the older guys, because we were forced to change, which had us thinking more, slowing us down a little bit more.
Slowing us down. Yep.
Yeah.
But younger generations instinctively playing the game the way they know how to play the game. I don't think they would know how to play the game we played it.
Yeah, I mean, also with the job metaphor, it's if not only we're changing the rules, you got to do it entirely differently, but if you do it the way that you used to do it, you're fired.
Correct.
The way that you trained for 20 years to do it.
You got to adapt, and that was the thing. You got to adapt. If you can't adapt, it's cool. We're going to find somebody else to do it. And
that's right.
You pretty much had your hands tied behind your back as they was implementing these new rules.
And it's hard, man. Yeah. I mean, you guys are moving at 100 miles an hour. You're trying to, the bodies are shifting in midair. You're trying to make a play. I mean, everything there's very few intentional head strikes. I mean, you're trying to make a play And now these guys are going down low, so they're going for the knees. The knees are even, I mean, you blow somebody's knee, they're done. Their career could be over. So it's like obviously I understand that offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. So where is that medium? I don't see it, man. It's just
and
in
again,
favor of the offense.
I don't even think it's for us to even, because now it's even weird. It's crazy for me because as I'm watching, you watch a play and you look on Twitter or X or whatever you call it today, people, that's dirty, that's this, that's that, and you're like, look at it, like, because for me it was like when you play the game of football, you're playing the game of football with knowing that it comes with injuries. Like
that's right.
It comes with the territory. So that was my mindset when it came to, when I go to my regular desk job, I'm thinking when I get there, like, I don't expect to be in the best shape possible. Like,
right.
So when I go to play the game of football, my expectation is like, I expect to play football at a high level, but I don't expect to get hurt. No, it's gonna come with the injury.
That's right.
You can't avoid it. There's no way. So, but I don't think there's. At the end of the day, I think it's like anything else. Everybody ain't gonna be happy. So
that's right.
You just live with the punches and go with it.
Yeah, in your desk job, you don't have to worry about Terry Tate, the office linebacker, coming in and smoking you either.
Not at all. You just got to worry about those somebody coming in and locking the doors. I guess I don't know.
All right, so getting into life after football, when you stepped away from the game, retiring from the Panthers, what was that transition like? A lot of players talk about they struggle with identity. Did you go through any of those pains at all?
That's tough because it was even fun, like going to the gym and working out and stuff, because that's just a routine of mine. It was just, I remember when I played, I didn't talk to nobody. Like I was in this bubble. And I was just football. And then I remember like just shit, the most awkward thing was like going to like parent teacher meeting. Like what are we talking about? Like what are we doing? Like, hey, that was awkward. Just civilian life was just awkward to me. You know what I mean? When you're sick, it's okay to like lay in the bed rather than like pushing yourself through it.
Pushing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you're, getting up every morning and not having a routine, that was awkward. That was because for so long I had a routine and it was football. My life was football.
Yeah.
And then just trying to change that mindset of like, okay, you got to find a passion. You got to find something. You got to find something that motivates you. And that was the toughest thing because, I just admit, you go out with, your local friends and you're like, what am I doing? This is not me. What am I doing? So it was a tough transition. For even my wife too, even for the kids, it was tough because it was like, I remember the first Sunday, NFL Sunday, and I'm like, what do I do?
Wow.
And then even like the mentality of, your old teammates and stuff that you were really close to. I remember somebody like, why didn't you text me? Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you say what's up? Whatever. I'm like, dude, you're working. I remember when I used to play, I didn't want nobody bothering me. So I'm like, I don't bother you.
Right. And so that's crazy.
Kind of like being in a place by yourself. And that was the biggest thing of just feeling like I'm in a place by myself. And, every day you wake up and, the kids go to school or whatever, and you just like, what do I do? You go work out. I remember for the longest, I'm still working out like I'm playing. And I'm like, why am I doing this shit? Like,
right. Crazy.
You sound like a pretty involved dad. Were you able to direct any of that energy into your kids and your family? Did that help at all?
Man, that's like, those are like, I love going to their games. Like, I love it.
That's great.
I love going to their games. I just hate that my kids, like, they do something, they look at me like,
oh yeah.
Right,
oh wow.
So like I try to like hide places so they don't see me, so they can like stop trying to find where I'm at and stuff. And then my son is funny because his name is Michael too, but his middle name is different. He's Michael Braven Griffin. I'm Michael Devin Griffin, and my daughter is Maya Devin Griffin. And so he goes by his middle name, and it's like we always joke. He goes, "Why don't you just call me Junior? Like, why didn't you name me Junior?" I said, "I never want you to go through the pressure. I don't want people to compare you to me, and I want you to
right."
And so, but he's doing phenomenal. He got a couple of college visits and stuff, and I'm really hard on when it comes to grades and stuff. So we got to go visit Colgate in Columbia, and so
Nice.
yeah, he's like, "You really want me to go there?" I said, "Damn right, I want you to go there." He's like, "You put that on your resume, you can probably walk in any door. Trust me." But
Yeah, great schools.
so he's doing good. My daughter's doing. I got a young one, the 8-year-old. She don't know what she want to do. She just wants to lay around the house all day. She's lazy. That's the one that told me I wish she would have played sports. And I'm looking at her like, you're so. I had to do career day at her school a couple of weeks ago, and she looked at I posted the video of me playing, and she looked at me crazy, and she's like, "Wait, you used to play football?" I'm like, "Where have you been?"
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
8-year-old, she just for some odd reason, she wished she had a cool dad that plays sports, but for some reason, she just thinks I'm lying. She thinks
that
it's
is so funny, man.
You had to show the
AI.
video. That's so funny.
yeah,
That's so funny.
when I try to teach her something, she's like, "You don't know." Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, she'll keep you humble.
Yeah.
She's definitely the one that keeps me humble. Definitely.
All right. Well, man, we covered your football career, which was awesome. For us as sports fans and fans of you, man, that was great to hear. So let's get into a little bit what and why this is your new and next love of your life outside of your family, of course. Where did motorcycles come into the picture for you? Was it post-career discovery, or had you always had that itch?
Growing up, I mean, I used to ride dirt bikes in my grandparents' house. But I promise you, I tell you, after I got done, I tried to get I used to go to this motorcycle dealership. It's called Ride Now. And it used to be called Woods Fun Center, but now they changed the name to Ride Now. I think it's under the same organization. And they're all over the U.S.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I used to just go in there and just walk around and look. And I remember I was like trying to like do something with the kids. So I tried to bought my kids like 2 little 4-wheelers. And they were like, "Well, what are you going to do to ride with the kids?" I'm like, "I don't know." So I ended up getting like a big 4-wheeler. No, I actually got I think I got a 250 or something. Got something, but it was like clutch and couldn't get out of first gear. So I had to sit there in the parking lot and learn how to get out of first gear because like couldn't go nowhere. So I was like, "This is the dumbest thing ever. Like, what am I doing?" So finally, I see this Daytona 675, this black one. And I'm like, "Ooh, that bike is nice. I really want it, but don't know how to ride motorcycles." So I meet this guy named Eric who works there, and we become really cool. So I'm like, "Hey, where can I go get my motorcycle license?" And he was like, "For what? You don't know how to get out of first gear." I'm like, "Dude, I just want to have it just to have it on my license, just to have it." And he's like, "All right, well, I got to take this class for defensive driving anyway." So I signed him for the class. Now, I thought that they provide everything for you when you sign up for the class. Didn't know you need to bring a jacket, your own helmet. And thank God it was on the written portion first day. So I was cool. The next morning, I had to figure out where to get a jacket at. So I go to Ride Now, thinking I'm supposed to buy a jacket like my regular size, like big oversized coat, biggest, baggiest jacket I ever got. Just grab a helmet off the shelf, and I didn't have riding boots. So you know the old Kobe's after he tore the Achilles?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wore those. Those were my riding boots. So remember going to class, so the next day it's all right, time to like learn the basics. Bro, they put me on a little Grom, and I didn't realize you got to give it a little bit more gas because to get in the first, stalled out the whole day. God tells me, "Listen, tell you if you can't get out of first gear, you're going to fail the class." Like, all right. So he's like, I want you to come straight to me and go. So I'm like, oh, damn, I'm scared. So I give it a lot of gas and I let off the clutch.
Oh, shit.
But I'm big enough. I'm 225. So the bike shoots.
Right.
I grab it in the air and sit it down. And he's like, if you do that again, I promise you, you will not have your life. So that was like my welcome to what the hell are you doing moment. But I managed to get through the class. I guess they allow everybody to pass motorcycle classes because I don't know how I passed it. I got out. And then I went to Ride Now and bought the damn bike. Now
you bought it, huh? Shit.
Bought it, but I didn't think the part through. How am I going to get it home?
No.
So I went and picked it up, but they closed at 6. And I picked it up at 5:55. So they hand me your key. Here you go. So now I'm sitting there like, fuck, I got to get home. So I do a couple of practice in the parking lot by myself.
In the parking lot? Nice.
Yeah, all right, okay. We get it. Okay, we got it. All right. So now I'm like, I'm not getting on the highway. I'm going to take every back road home. Took me about an hour and a half. Took me about an hour and a half to go 20 miles because I literally like stoplight, whatever. So that took me forever. And so my wife didn't know and my mom didn't know. So I parked the bike on the other side of the car that I don't drive. And I like kind of wrap it up. So it's like sitting there and I got to go out of town. So I asked my mom and my dad to feed the dogs. And my mom takes the trash out and walks around and is like, sends a picture to me and my wife and say, oh, look what I found. Now I'm in trouble on a little vacation. And she's mad at the world or whatever. So yeah, that was like, I guess when you talk about I had to find something to get
right.
Figure it out, that was like my project. So I literally like got it home, started like riding the neighborhood, like go around the block, practice all my left turns. Now go back and go my right turns. And finally I graduated to, okay, go on the main street and come back. It took me about 6 months to like get comfortable on like doing things. And
well, you went from a Grom practicing on a little Grom. You're a big dude. To you, and you got a what? The 675? Is that what you got? Was that the first one?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a big jump.
Well, what I really wanted was they had a black 2016 BMW, and Eric, who worked at Fun Center, was like, "You're not getting this bike," and I'm like, "Why not?" He goes, "I don't care how much money you got. I'm not selling you a leader bike."
Good man.
So I'm like, "So you'll sell me this one?" He goes, I'd rather you have that than have this. And so I basically had that 675 for almost a year. Like I practiced.
Nice.
Practice. And then I went and bought my BMW. And then I realized why he said, you don't need to get this on your first. All in the throttle. And then from there, it just, I started collecting bikes. I don't know what. I just got to.
Then I had that's what happens, man. That's fucked up.
2016 Aprilia RSV4. And then I went and bought a Ducati V4 2018. Nice. And then I had that and I got rid of the Daytona 675. And then I went and got a 2020 BMW. And then I sold the Aprilia, and then I went and I was just left and right, like just hooked. And then it was more crazy because I would normally do like Sunday rides with my friends, like started learning how to like, you know, enjoy little rides or whatever. And then I started meeting more people and they was like, come to the track. And I'm like, track? They're like, yeah, come on the track. I'm like, not doing that. So I would go to the track and watch them. I'm like, not doing it. They're like, no, it's safer than riding on the street. And quick story was Cedric Benson, who played at Texas with me, used to always invite me to go ride or whatever, but I would never go. I was always busy with the kids or whatever. And I remember I was in Houston, and my phone was blowing up. And I'm like, why is everybody calling me? And I answered the phone like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, why? They said a former Texas player passed away on a motorcycle accident, and we all thought it was you. And I'm like, no, I'm in Houston. So doing some more research, come to find out it was Cedric Benson. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, so I'm like, okay. I kind of like got away from riding. And one of my other friends, I was like, hey, listen, instead of us riding on Sundays, let's sign up for one of these track days, which is Ride Smart, and let's try that out. So it was crazy because I had all the stuff, and I went to the funeral Friday for Cedric Benson. And that Saturday, I went to COTA to do the track day. And pretty much the rest was history. Like once I did that, and it was like just learning how to really ride the bike to make you a better rider. This is my personal opinion. Just learning how to maneuver a bike and just learn more about the bike. Basically, the bike can do way more than we're capable of ever making it to allow it to do. I literally, from that standpoint, never been on the street ever since.
Griff, you felt safe. You felt safe on the track.
I felt so much safer. I mean, just over the time of just basically getting to ride the bike for to its potential, but having instructors instruct you to watch. They will film you. You go into a classroom. They will talk to you about your position. They will tell you where you messed up. They would just tell you everything about what you're doing, showing brake markers, showing just everything, and it just kind of just helped the motor skills on at a faster pace, operating the motorcycle, and being able to, when you get on the street, it's like everything is so much slower compared to on the track. Everything is happening so much faster. And so I just felt safer with the fact that I saw accidents and, people get in accidents, they pop right back up with the full leather suits on or whatever. And then the way that their Alpine Stars and other, the Nazy and them are having the airbag systems and seeing how that's helping. And just the levels on how they you got different levels, different rules. You're in level one, can't pass on turns or whatever, only on straightaways, and no inside passing, and just understanding, like just the things they don't really tell you. Like, hey, if it's early morning, you get on a motorcycle, your tires are cold and the street is cold, and you don't have as much grip as you have. Like those little, learning all those different things about the bike and things, just helped me understand. But then at the same time, gave me a more appreciation for the bike because what it's done for me when it comes to, I say medicate, like my medicine for myself too. But at the same time, it kind of reminds me of like being on a team, meeting other people from different backgrounds, different cultures.
That's cool.
Different paths of life. It bring us all together and just go out there and hang out and do something that we enjoy from it. And again, the age thing is like the age gap. You got the young guys that's out there, and you got the older guys, and it just brings us all together. Like we don't have to be this superior 1% athlete that comes to making it to make a lot of money. We're all like, hey, let's go out here, let's have fun, and then let's leave. We meet people. Like last track day, it was last Monday. The guys that I met 2 years ago that are from Nashville, and they remember me playing, and like every year they come, we like hang out and we ride together and everything else. That's like, cool. You're a better rider than me. And I'm like, no, we're here riding to have fun. Like
that's right.
Yeah. Just riding, having fun, and just, talking shit or whatever, and just laughing at you blow a corner, you go wide or something. We just like laughing about like, what was you thinking? Or like, what was you doing? It's just fun. It's just a different insight, and and again, you just get appreciation for all the different bikes. You know, people have different preferences and things. So it's just a great, to me, it's just a great, I always have a great time. There's not one time I go to the track.
Yeah. You became a technician, like you were talking about with your brother. And then that reminds me, did your brother, did Marcus, does he ride or has he ever ridden?
Me and my brother are the exact opposite. Everything I got dogs, he has no dogs. He, you know, motorcycles, he don't look twice. We are the exact. I'm a neat freak. He's not. We are the exact opposite.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
So we've seen you out on the track ripping it up. How does that adrenaline rush compare to the adrenaline in the NFL?
It's I would say, you know, it's like this. When you play football, you know, people always, oh, you'll get hurt. You'll get hurt. You know, if just get hurt. And then you ride motorcycles, you'll get hurt. You get hurt. You'll die. You won't get. And it's like, you know, people get in their cars and drive on the street each and every day, and there's a death every day.
That's exactly right. Absolutely.
Or when people like, you should eat a certain way because of this and this and this. And I'm like, every day you walk outside and you breathe the air, is pollution everywhere. Like, we just killing you. Like, what we talking about here? Like, death is inevitable. It's just, only thing guaranteed in life is death. Like, that's literally the only thing. So
death and taxes, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And sometimes you can bypass the tax. You just got to see how long you can go without getting caught. But you see that with celebrities 24/7. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah.
It's 2025. You think he's gonna not get caught? Okay, but
That's
you got a movie coming out next week. Gotcha. But I think the preparation is one. Like my night before a track day, it's like my wife thinks I'm crazy. Like, you know, it's like first day of school. You lay the whole uniform out, make sure you got everything, make sure your gloves is nice and neat, make sure they still fit, make sure your suit fit, because you know, if some people get a little out of shape or whatever, you got to see what you got to do.
Yeah.
Hydration, give me a Pedialyte, start drinking water. Sometimes go get an IV. Making sure like my little cooler's packed with snacks and stuff throughout the day. But it's just make sure I got my folding chair, and make sure I got my little fan, and make sure the car is packed, and make sure I got 2 suits, make sure my airbag suit is fully charged, but make sure I bring the charger just in case. Make sure I got my you know, just making sure you got everything. And it's the same thing in football. It's like, make sure you got your cleats, make sure you got your helmet, make sure you got your mouthpiece, make sure your shoulder pad fit right. Are you missing a pad or something? Make sure your pants is good. Do I have my thigh and my knee pads? You know, did I pack? What's the weather going to look like? Oh, it's going to be a little cold. Cool. How's the ground? Was it turf or is it grass? Do I need to wear 7 studs? I need to wear molded cleats.
Right.
This is the track. I'm looking. What's the weather going to be like? Okay. Cold in the morning. Is it going to heat up? Okay. Maybe the first session, go outside. Literally, I go to the track. I touch the ground. Is it cold? A little too cold. I'm not going first session. That's just, I'm like, not doing it. I'm going to wait a little bit, see.
Right.
Ask other people, how's the track looking? What does it look like? What does the turn on this turn look like? What does it look, you know? Even if there's like an accident and there's an oil spill, hey, I'm gonna let y'all go out there to tell me where the oil spills are. I ain't just gonna go out there and just go see.
Right.
Right.
But this, like, that's the preparation. It feels like I'm getting ready. Because again, you know, with motorcycles or with anything else that you do, you can seriously get hurt. And for me, like I said, I'm built for perfection. So I want to make sure that when I go out there, everything is, you know, perfected. Even like checking the bike. I got a guy that, like me personally, I won't take a bike out there. Each track day, new slicks. I'm not riding. And if it's 2 days in a row, 2 pair of slicks each day. I'd rather spend the money than to risk something. And that's just me. So after the track day, hey, change it up. Or I take 2 bikes. One day I'm gonna ride this bike the whole time. Well, why don't you ride them both times? Because I want to get comfortable and I want to focus on this bike today. Then tomorrow, when my brain is trying to get acclimated to the new weather conditions, whatever it is, I take this bike and I can adapt as the day goes by with this bike. And so that's just, I treat it like literally like it's a game. Like it's fun.
Griff, let me ask you this. What are you riding these days? What are your track bikes that you're bringing? And in addition to, are you doing more drag or are you doing course?
More course. I'll drag it down. It's no fun going straight. No
Okay.
fun. But I got I got a 24 M1000 R, and I got a 23 V4R Ducati, and then hopefully next month I have my 25 Aprilia RSV4.
Nice.
And then I have,
that's a sick one. I saw a video on that thing. That thing's insane.
and so I'm going to get the base model, because if I get if I get the top of the line one, basically I will be working backwards because my weight, suspension, everything else. So
got it.
the base one and build it the way I want. And then I got a 50th anniversary 22 M1000, the Alpine Yellow. And that's the one. That's my favorite bike. That's the one that I let it just chill. My thing is, I say it's like an investment, but we all know you lose money when you buy bikes. But
yeah, of course.
I feel like there's going to be some crazy guy that just falls in love with BMWs, and he's going to want like some of the best like bikes that was in the past, like the 2014 HP4 race bike. He probably want that one, and then the 50th anniversary, he'll just want it. I'll be like, bet you're the guy I'm looking for.
Yeah, man. Hey, so you know what? Well, what? Some people collect. You know, we got people who pay $gazillion for shoes and purses. What the hell, man? This is our purses and shoes, man. So
yeah, I got a good friend of mine. Like he literally bought. So when Jack Miller was with Lenovo, when he was with the factory Ducati team, they do that race where all the Ducati riders all get on V4Ss and they all do a race or whatever, like during their like I guess you call it their summertime, their mid-season point. And he actually bought Jack Miller's bike. And it's like it's a V4S, regular red V4S that has, and he got like, and I was like, it's just a V4S, right? And he's like, it's Jack Miller's V4S. I'm like, bro, he rode that bike one time. And he's like, but that's his bike. I mean, he's a guy that like collects bikes. So he literally in his house, he has like a museum. He has the bike sitting in his house as a museum piece.
That's right.
When he told me what he paid for it, I'm like, Lord, how mercy. Crazy. But I got like,
how much have guys paid for, let's say, a pair of game worn Jordan sneaks? How much have guys paid for those? More than the bike.
I mean, I'll tell you this though. We comparing Jordan and a bike.
I get it.
Comparing Jordan and the bike.
I'm not comparing Jordan and the bike. What I'm comparing is he didn't buy Jordan. Hey, he didn't buy Jordan. He bought sneakers that Jordan wore, just like the guy.
The ones that Jordan, it's a little different when it's the ones that Jordan. Because all the Jordans that come out today, Jordan ain't never wore. So that's why I get kind of confused on the people who buy the different Jordans, and it's like, I'm gonna, like Travis Scott, great performer. I like the shoes or whatever, but I'm like, you buy them because they're Travis Scott Jordans. But I'm like, I'm lost. Like he's an artist, and you're spending X amount of money on shoes that he just wears to sing a song. Like I'm lost.
Right.
I'm really lost on that part. Now I get it. But I get it. T-shirt. That's why I say I gotta find somebody like my friend that will eventually want to buy this 50th anniversary BMW. So I'm just gonna hold on to it because it has less than 1,000 miles. It's been on the track one time, and now all it does is go get a routine oil service once a year. And they laugh at me, but I'm saying I'm keeping all the book and the documentation to let everybody know.
Smart.
So when I go to sell it, it's going to be bingo.
Hey,
it's going to be
and on top of that, ridden by one of the baddest safeties in the freaking NFL. So I'll put that on top of that.
I don't think they're going to care about that part. They just going to carry that. Because, a lot of people are riding them. They're going to have a lot of miles on and everything else. This one here is going to be low miles, very well kept.
Yeah,
it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Smart.
That's it. And then I looked I thought about the 25M, but you can't keep up with these. You can't keep up with them. And I'm only keeping my 23R because they went to dual side swing arm rather than single side swing arm. So, I just hold on to that. And I'm thinking maybe down the future you'll have somebody who's like, hey, I really want the single side. Last year they are. And I'm like, all right, cool, bet, here you go. So
your son or your oldest daughter, are they getting the itch a little bit? Are they enjoying it?
My son knows how to ride. My daughter, she looped the dirt bike when we had it, so she's like never again. But my son, he knows how to ride.
Okay, cool.
He has a little girlfriend or whatever. So like when I see him, it's like who got more hair on their chest when he walk around the house. So
that's
so
at that
funny.
age already.
That's funny.
Jeez.
That's fucking funny.
All right, so for young athletes or riders listening, what advice would you give about chasing greatness while still staying grounded and having fun?
I mean, the thing is, you got to love it. And I say that to say, and I tell this to my kids all the time, like when you do something, you got to put your effort into it and you got to love it. If you don't love it, it's just, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And again, like, I love the game of football. I loved it. Do I still love it? I love watching my son play. I want him to achieve the goals with it. But, I found a whole nother love for life. And again, it's you can tell you, if y'all would have saw me last week, I was like a kid in a candy store. Like I got I have literally the whole collection of the Alpine Star limited edition helmets. So I have the first release.
Oh man,
nice.
Looks so good.
The first release or the black that turns into like the reddish carbon helmet. I got that helmet. I have the Jorge Martin helmet, which I got signed this past weekend.
Cool.
I have Jack Miller. I got that helmet signed this past weekend. I got Costa. I got him to sign that helmet last weekend. And so I got that whole, so I'm literally building, like it's not done yet, but this is kind of like my man cave. You kind of see that.
Nice. Pool table.
Yeah, that's cool.
You need to stay away from that.
Sweet.
Right there. Yeah, stay away from that stuff right there. I got it all coming. I got all my little jerseys on the ground. It all got to get
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, that's going to be clean.
But, you know what? While we at it, so we can move while we at it, right? So I can tell you.
Yeah. Take us out, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's going to be an awesome room.
I say I got stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Stuff they got to get hung up, Stuff they got to get
That's badass.
I got this right here. Yeah.
Nice.
You know why I got his, though, right? What number does he wear? Jack?
33.
33?
Yep. Bender. I got his. So I got Bender in here. Then crazy story. So here's my Frankie Morbidelli helmet. This is my Frankie Morbidelli helmet.
Put it into the camera a little bit. That is cool, man.
But if you look, he's right there.
Nice. Yeah.
So
that's a cool helmet.
So, and then crazy thing is, I'm gonna end y'all with this one. So, Jorge Martin is my favorite rider. When I started watching racing a couple of years ago, I was like, dude, that dude there is very, very. He has a lot of talent. And if you ever watched, There Can Only Be One, not this past season, but the one before, when they asked Mark Marquez, everybody keeps talking about, Petco and everybody else, but they was like, dude, Martin's the fastest rider. And so for the longest, I was like, dude, that dude's going to be a champion. Like, he's just,
right.
You can just see how good he really is. So last year, I got to meet him, talk to him, which was kind of cool. Had a long conversation. And it was funny because he was signing autographs on like those frames I showed you. He was signing those. And I asked the guy, "Hey, how much do you sell those pictures for?" Like, normally in the frame, I sell them for like 200. Like, hey, I got 200 cash right now. Let me get one. And Jorge Martin was like, "Wait, you?" Because he was like shocked. I was a football player. He's like, "Wait, you won't." So he called somebody. And so during qualifying last year, during qualifying at COTA, he crashed.
Oh,
so
shit.
he gave me his boot that he crashed in.
Oh, cool.
So this is Jorge Martin boot, and he signed it right there. So this is the boot that he crashed in last year. So add that to the collection. So,
Cool.
yeah, a big, just, I'm a fan of the sport. And so
I love that, man. I love seeing you do that. That's so cool. You're putting some nice masterpieces together from all your passions in life.
So I'm putting all this in there, and I'm trying to get the plan is, don't tell me, the plan is to put the 50th anniversary bike in the room too. But I got to see how I'm gonna sneak the bike in the house without my wife knowing.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah,
When the bosses don't like motorcycles in houses.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. I think I want to put it like this is big window over here. I think I want to put it like in the big window, so when people like looking through my house, they be like, "He has a motorcycle in the house." So
that's
like,
cool.
if I'm in,
that would look cool too, with the
I'm in
sun
the pool,
shining onto it.
Yeah, if I'm in the pool or something outside, they look and be like, "He has a real motorcycle in his house." So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just trying to make it like a cool vibe, but like all about my aspiration and things I love. And I told my daughter and I told my son, if they do good enough, I might hang their jersey in the room. But
nice.
I told them they ain't earned that yet. They haven't earned that part
yet. You're bluffing. Those jerseys are absolutely going up.
They're gonna go up. I just, like I said, my daughter, they're gonna go up. I'm really excited for them. And again, it's like, again, I'm just, that proud dad moment, but you're like, damn, they're getting older.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to I ain't got nothing else to do. So maybe buy more bikes or something.
That's right.
That's great. Hey, Griff, where's the best place to follow you and follow along?
Well, the thing is, I would say the best thing is follow me on social media. All social media is Mike Griff 33. That's on X. That's on Instagram. And also I have a little channel thing that I do, Corner Speed 33, where we do a lot of great things. I mean, we got Aaron Colton. I'm supposed to go visit him probably in May. We're gonna play a little bit of golf, and then we're gonna go to the Red Bull Center, and I'm gonna actually see if I can train like a Red Bull athlete, which I don't think I can make it. He should have called me in my younger days. But a lot of great things with that. We just try to just do a lot of content, interview a lot of people. Kind of like what y'all are doing, just having that conversation and just bringing that. A lot of people you see, and again, to each their own when it comes to the community of motorcycles. Some people do the street rides and things like that.
That's right.
I like to try to just bring a different perspective on me personally, just getting educated, because I feel like there's so much when it comes to just learning motorcycles, learning what goes into it, whether you're a technician, whether you're a racer, whether you're a stunt rider. Aaron Colton's a great stunt rider. Got to see his show. Impressive. It was raining, drizzling. And I said, "You're going to cancel the show?" And he said, "Why would I do that?" And I was like,
dang.
Okay, you're going to start whittling and everything. Okay, gotcha. And I just saw this dude go straight at the little guardrail and just stopped, did a stoppie on the front. And I said, "Dude, you're not scared you're going to run into nobody?" And like, it's awesome.
He's incredible. He's incredible, man. I watch his stuff. He's absolutely amazing. His riding skills are off the charts, man.
Yeah, so that's like I said, there's so many different levels of motorcycling, if that makes sense. You got the guys that I even one time I really want to do this. I know they do. I think they do this a lot in like the California, the northern area, where they go on those like those trips, long trips, where they just get an adventure bike and just go.
Yep.
Like, I want to do one of. I just want to do. I want to. Hey, listen, we're gonna backpack and let's go. However long it takes, let's just go knock that out.
That's right.
So those are some things that I really, my umbrella, my bucket list on what I want to do when it comes to, so I can just experience. And my really biggest thing is, and I talked to some of the guys with MotoGP, like I really want to watch a MotoGP race in another country, because that fan base is just on a whole nother level when it comes to like
whole different world, man. Whole different world.
So I told him, like, hey, you come, let me know. Like, we got you. You're gonna be my guest the whole weekend. Like, I bring you to my hometown, we feed you good and everything. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to just be there and just watch a race over there somewhere. So I got all this on my list to do. Maybe I do this.
Good for you, brother. Good for you. Yep. Yeah. That's cool, man. All right. Well, listen, man, you made it through the questions. You made it through now we're going to do a little bit of a speed round we do at the end of each podcast, little fun thing just to kind of get your quirky personality and the things that you love and don't. So we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. If you make the 2 minutes, Ben will send you $5,000 cash. If you don't make the 2 minutes, you send us an autographed picture to Surgeon Ben, so we can hang it in our office. Would that be cool?
I'll send you something. I got you. Just send me the address when we get off.
All right. I appreciate you, man. Yeah. All right. Let's do it. 2 minutes on the clock. Ben, start it up.
Let's go.
All right. Toughest running back or wide receiver to bring down. Name one in college and one in the pro.
Maurice Jones-Drew, Jaworski Lane.
Okay. Favorite stadium you ever played in college and the NFL?
Ohio State, the Horseshoe. NFL will be Seattle.
Seattle, okay. One person, past or present, you would love to have dinner with?
Brian Dawkins.
Okay, nice. All right. This going to lead me to this next one. Mount Rushmore for safeties, not including you.
Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, Brian Dawkins, Sean Taylor.
Nice. Great one. Okay. If you could line up and hit one player again, who's catching it?
Oh, Mike Turner. I got to get my get back.
Mike Turner.
That's awesome, dude. Oh, Mike. He's like, shit, what did I do, man? All right.
Oh, he know what he did. Right. He know what he did.
He knows what he did.
All right. Your go-to hype song before big game or before track day?
Ooh, slow jams. Something with Chris Brown.
Okay. Really? Surprising.
Yeah, I'm slow jams all day.
Nice.
All right.
Better feeling, pick six in the NFL or dragging me through a corner?
Pick six. They're harder.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah.
Who gets your vote for the best sport bike made?
BMW.
Okay, nice.
They're easier to ride. They're just easy to ride.
They're engineered unbelievably, man. I agree.
They're easy to ride. Yeah, they're just easy to ride. I think Ducati has a hell of a bike, but you got to be ready to ride something that just wants to go. BMW, I mean, BMW has the heated grips. They have cruise control. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
Luxury.
Agreed. One player you played against that you were in awe of, even though they were the enemy?
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. Okay.
All right.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. All right. Pre-game meal versus a pre-ride meal. What's your ritual?
Pre-game meal was always an omelet with bacon and fruit. Pre-ride meal, nothing. Drilling's running.
Okay.
Right on.
Cool.
The game started like 12 o'clock, so I had time to digest. Riding, normally go to riding days. Track is hot around 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever. So you're getting there so early that you're probably drinking an energy drink, and then you're like suited on track. Yeah.
Keeping your boost up. Yep. Would you rather run a 4.3 40-yard dash again or hit 250 on the straightaway?
250.
Nice. Best advice you ever received that you passed to your own kids?
Your body is a multi-million-dollar industry, and you got to take care of it.
Nice. Great advice, man. What's more intense, being in a huge pile of people tackling one person or being in a large group of motorcycles going 180 miles an hour?
A large group of motorcycles, you got to figure out who the hell's going to stop and who's going to do what first. You got to read the room, but at a quick.
That's right. If you could get up on stage and sing or jam with one musician or band, who are you picking?
Ooh. Give me Jackson 5.
All right. Nice.
Besides the One Gang Worldwide podcast, of course, what other podcasts are you listening to now?
I would have to say I'm listening to the Pivot with Ryan Clark.
Yeah, Pivot. I like that one too. That's a good one. All right, man. 2 minutes and 1 second. So you didn't make the 2 minutes. So that means we get an autograph. So Ben saves us 5,000, and we get an autograph picture, man, to hang up on our wall here.
I got you.
But in all sincerity, brother, man, it's been an absolute honor. Been following your journey on Instagram and just watching the way you do and who you are. Not only was I a fan of yours when you were in the NFL, but I got a chance to kind of see how you take life's approach with not just the racing part, which is a newfound passion for you, but also the way you're proud and how you teach your kids and the things that you post about your children and everything that's on there. So that was the main reason I really wanted to reach out to you. I just love the way you handle life, man. And, now you got 2 huge fans here in Florida, and we just wish you nothing but success in your life, your family, and just keep racing, man. Keep chasing that dream. Cause we're going to see you doing something special on that, on 2 wheels soon. So
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And if y'all ever in the area, man, give me a holler. Just go grab lunch.
Likewise, if you ever come to Daytona Bike Week or anything here in Florida for motorcycle events, I got an extra bike in my shop. I'll show you some great rides around here. If you want to drive in that, obviously I'll take you back roads, not so much on that, but you'll always have a motorcycle. It ain't going to be fast like yours. It's Harley's, but at least you'll get to cruise a little bit.
Riding is cool to me, baby. That's just this, it's time you put your phone down and just enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.
Amen. Thank you. Hey, Griff, did you get a chance to think about underrated players at all that you faced?
I would say one of the biggest underrated players, I would have to go with, let me go with Steven Jackson for St. Louis Rams.
All right.
I think he's a guy that if he would have been on a better team, we would have been, he probably would be one of those guys that you put up there when you talk about your Marshawn Lynch's, when you talk about your Fred Taylor's. It's just unfortunately, he had the privilege to play with the St. Louis Rams, but the team just think about it. He was there before Todd Gurley, and Todd Gurley goes to the LA Rams, and we talk about how great of a running back he was, but Steven Jackson, unfortunately, wasn't on that good of a football team.
Not at all.
To basically did not have those televised games where the world could see. So I would have to go with Jackson.
He was built different, man. That guy was holy shit.
He's a guy that runs for 1,000 yards every year. You just never paid attention to him because the team was losing.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's
and
a
I
good
think
answer.
if you look at Matthew Stafford right now, the fact that he left Detroit and went to the Rams is where you got an appreciation for how good he really is.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
He would have you missed all those years of him to be like, oh my God, he's so great. You're like, dude, he's
right.
He's on a bad team.
I mean, shit. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Calvin Johnson. I mean, Detroit was such a they were just such a losing organization that, I mean, even guys like Calvin Johnson, the football purists will name him as one of the best, but most people don't think of him in that category because they always sucked,
And you were blessed to be able to see him on televised games because every day on Thanksgiving, Detroit has a game. You was able to watch him play. But normally you never saw him play. You only got to catch highlights because
you're right. You're right. I didn't even think about that.
If you're not, it's almost like that's why like is you see teams like, for instance, like for instance, Fred Taylor, he'll be another.
Yeah.
Fred Taylor's another unappreciative running back because he played for Jacksonville. You never really saw him play, and unfortunately, because of that, you never got to get a glimpse of how good he really was.
Agreed.
And I think that's why he's very unappreciated.
Yep, for sure. What was what was as a Steelers fan, I'm gonna ask you, what was Troy Polamalu like? I'm sure you got a chance with the Pro Bowl.
Dude,
Kind of bullshit with him.
Doesn't talk at all, but just like the only time I talked to him was at the Pro Bowl, and he was just telling us like how much he studies and like everything he does. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Like he was like Ed Reed was one of the coolest guys ever. He was like based on like a lot of these great superstar players were like the coolest guys ever.
That's so cool to hear.
But like I said, the one that was like, I got an autographed picture from Brian Dawkins. I got an autographed picture from him. But like
sweet.
The way that he went into character, and they said he used to fire his team up, but did not use profanity, did not cuss at all.
Wow, nice. What was he your guy growing up? Was he your guy that you looked up to when you were still young?
Well, he was like, because you gotta remember, when I came in the league, it was like I came in the league where like Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, and all like I'm in the league with them guys. But Brian Dawkins, when I got in the league, Brian Dawkins, I think he just got to like Denver. Like he was like on the tail end of his career. So, you know, he was a guy that you looked up to. But like Deshaun Taylor and all those guys, I witnessed it. I was playing in the same era as them.
Right.
And then, but Brian Dawkins was before us. He just played for a long time. But like, it was just amazing to watch.
Did you have a favorite player growing up when you were a kid? Like somebody that you kind of idolized a little bit?
To be honest with you, it was not because I didn't really watch sports growing up. I was busy working. I didn't really watch sports.
Sure,
but like when I was in college, it was like following the careers of the people that we played against or whatever.
Gotcha.
And so when I was in college, freshman, like Sean Taylor was still in college, you know?
Right.
So like when I was playing, in order to, okay, he's that good, he did this, okay, this is what I have to do. And then you watch, you know, your Ed Reeds and everybody else like, okay, I gotta play like this, you know? And then I remember my senior year, I was like in competition, but we were all like, we met each other, but we was all cool. Like Reggie Nelson had a hell of a year my senior year. He got the nickname the Eraser for Florida. But Brandon Merriweather was already a top safety. He was the coming of the Sean Taylor and the Ed Reeds and the Phillip Buchanans and the Rolls and everything. He was the next DB in line. So, and then Kenny Phillips was the year after. So you had him, and then you had LaRon Landry at LSU, who was like a freak of nature. So like it was like we all met each other and we was all cool, but we was all in the same draft class. And then Eric Weddle was doing what he's doing, you know, shout out to Eric Weddle.
Yeah.
Birthday and everything. So we always say we're like brothers from different mothers, but he was doing this thing in Utah. So it was like every week as we're competing my senior year, we're all trying to figure out who's going to be the top safety taken in our class because we were all like a top safety class. So when you talk about the best safety class to get drafted, I'm putting us in there because we were all in there.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, your draft class in general. I mean, look how many you got: Calvin Johnson, Hall of Fame; Joe Thomas, Hall of Fame; AP, Hall of Fame. I mean, you had a lot of good players. Patrick Willis, Hall of Fame. I mean, shit, you guys. I mean, Marshawn Lynch, great player. Darrell Revis, Hall of Fame. I mean, Lawrence Timmons was a great player.
Lawrence Timmons, what was the other running back that went to Carolina out of Miami?
Not McGahee. No, not who is it? Running back.
No, linebacker.
Linebacker out of Miami. Beeson.
Beeson. Beeson was
John
my class.
Beeson, right?
Greg Olson was in my class.
Yeah.
Went to Chicago.
Yeah.
Then he
What about Joe Staley? Joe Staley, the tackle from Central Michigan.
Joe Staley, Leon Hall played for a long time. Brandon Merriweather,
That's right.
That
was a great draft class, man.
Ed Ginn,
a lot of great players.
Yep. I'm trying to think. What was the run? Who was the? Somebody else went to the Jets. Was the first round? I think offensive tackle or something. I think late in the draft.
Late in the draft, let me double check. I'm not sure who it was, but I mean, definitely. I mean, that draft class was insane, man.
We had a really good draft
class. Yeah, for sure. I was actually hoping. I mean, because Hope left Pittsburgh and signed with Tennessee because Clark came from Washington and signed with Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Was it Garris Wilkinson?
Chris Hope and Troy was the same draft class, and they had to pick which one they was going to re-sign and let the other one walk.
That's right.
Well, Chris Hope came.
I loved Hope, man. He was a good player.
Yep.
Cool. Well, awesome, man. We can talk football. We'll talk your ear off, dude. So we're gonna let you get back, man. Once again, thank you so much, Griff.
Thank you.
Really
Griff.
appreciate you, man.
Awesome.
Thank you for taking the time and keep kicking ass on the track. All right, we're gonna keep follow that journey of yours.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
Legend, man. Thank you, Griff. Take care.
Right.